I thought I had it all together, but I was led astray the day you walked away. You were the clock that was ticking in my home, changed my state of mind when love's so hard to find. Your feelings changed like the weather, went from clear to gray.
Something a bit different. I'm going to be giving you a tour of my university. If you don't know what university I'm at the Zhejiang University of Media and Communications, or as locals call it, the Chuanmi. This university just recently celebrated its 40th anniversary. It is very far away from everything that you'd want. If you want to have a fun night out, you're going to be looking at a 50-minute train ride. But that said, it takes about 80p to get to the city centre, so there's wins and losses there. As you can see behind me, or around me right now, the weather is great. The weather in this area, Hangzhou in the Zhejiang province, isn't excellent at times. During the summer, it's incredibly hot, beautiful weather. When everyone was moaning back home about the weather being terrible, about being freezing, I was still scorching. So what I've got in my hand right now is my university card. See, this isn't like the Coventry card. This actually has a proper feasible use other than just getting it to doors. You load this up with money, and with that money you can buy lunches in the university canteen, you can buy snacks in the university shop, and what we're going to be doing now, we're going to be loading it up with water money. So you've got to load up the card with two different types of money, either with hot water money, which you can do like so. It's kind of confusing because you've got to load it up with two different types, and of course, obviously, electricity, which you slide on in, like so, and then you tap on the screen, like what you want to do, blah blah blah. So yeah, you've got to pay for electricity and water here, obviously. Now, I highly recommend getting a VPN because China has something called the Great Firewall. China's banned a lot of websites for holding data on its citizens, so like Facebook, Google, Twitter, YouTube, what have you. So lots of social media that you're used to, you're not going to get access to. I recommend either NordVPN or ExpressVPN. Neither of these are free, by the way. They're quite pricey. It's about 90 quid for a year, but if you don't pay that, you're not going to get access to social media, and you're not going to pass your module that Rachel set you. So basically, download it or fail. I also highly recommend sorting out, like learning quite a bit of Chinese before you come here, because Hangzhou, it's not like Shanghai and it's not like Hong Kong. If you have been to China, you've more likely been to them too, or Beijing before. Hangzhou doesn't really play by your rules. You need to either learn Chinese or you need to learn how to start pointing at things really well, because you're not going to get by very well. So now we're in the educational area. This is where you'll go to class, etc. There's no in between. There's either really good lectures or there's absolutely terrible lectures. I study journalism, and I chose subjects particular to journalism, as well as Chinese culture and Chinese language stuff. The journalism stuff here is very easy, very elementary. Like, you go to the lecture and they're talking about stuff you would have learnt in your uni prep, how to structure an article, what's the difference between an editorial, hard news, and a feature. Like, very mundane, easy stuff. And as well, I go to a broadcasting lecture as well, which is kind of a joke. I find it hilarious that I had to go to it. It's basically just an hour and a half of me sitting there, correcting a lecturer on what an English accent is, or pronunciation. Like, I'm more there as a TA than as an actual student. But that said, there are lectures such as Chinese culture that are incredibly interesting. They'll tell you all about Chinese legends, folklore, facts about the language, facts about the history. I go to two different Chinese culture lessons. Both of them are phenomenal. They're really interesting. They're very presentation heavy here as well. So yeah, you have all that to look forward to if you do choose this university. But as well, alongside that, the language lessons are quite tricky. Mandarin obviously is a very hard language to learn. You're going to struggle quite hard if you don't fully commit to learning the language. I've not been lucky enough to proper immerse myself in the language because it's just been too hard for me. But keep that in mind, that while there are good lectures, if you're interested about Chinese culture, there are also really tricky or really easy lectures as well alongside that. So now coming up to our campus accommodation. The accommodation, it's got no cooking materials whatsoever, so you will be eating out every night, unless you buy a kettle or a toaster, of course. It's got all the other amenities you'll need. It's got a shower, but the shower works only when it wants to. It's on a schedule. 6 till 8, 12 till 1, 5 till 11. So you kind of got to base a lot of your actual uni days around that, or you could do just a day without showering, unfortunately, unless you don't mind cold showers. The accommodation itself is quite dated. It's clear it's quite an old accommodation. As well as that, there's been quite a few roaches as well in my room. I've killed about 4 or 5 now. It's you kind of get, it's good in the sense that you get desensitized to that. So when I get back to Cobb, if we have a roach infestation, I just won't react. So I'm used to it now. As well, mosquitoes, you get a lot of mosquitoes, but that's to be expected. You are in like a jungle climate. Each uni room gets a wet room. You, as I said, you're not going to get hot water at an hour like this, unfortunately. And in order to get hot water, if I can find it, yeah, there it is. You have to plug in your uni card, and it charges you. It's very cheap, don't worry, and it charges you for your hot water. And this is what £200 a year will get you. You'll get a roommate, and you'll get a double bed as well, with a bunch of cockroaches as well if you want. It's a bit messy right now, but whatever. So me and my co-star Gugu, we're going to do a bit of shopping. What do you plan on buying from the shopping mall today, Gugu?
Probably some trainers, maybe. Anything that looks good.
So anything that looks good. Go on, Gugu, say your catchphrase. Say a catchphrase, Gugu.
What's my catchphrase?
That was a terrible catchphrase. Here we are at the shoe shop. Yeah, Balenciaga's the brand. You can buy all sorts of cheapy shoes. Like you can get some fake Balenciaga here for about 41.
So I think these will suit you.
Those?
Yeah, what do you think?
I don't think they will, bro. Do you like your reverse balances, Goog?
I do. I really do.
Best part about shoe shopping in China, you can get some really good fakes like Supreme, or maybe if you're more refined and you like Superb, or maybe a bit of flat. Not much luck today, but we're going to be doing quite a bit of shopping when we go to Shanghai tomorrow. So not that big of a deal. How do you feel, Gugu, about all of this awful stuff that's happened?
Only in China.
Only in China. Yeah, it's a bit stressful, but oh well, like Google Translate can only get you so far when you want to try on some shoes. So yeah, we'll try again tomorrow when we're in Shanghai. So we're now in the larger, more expensive shopping mall, and we've noticed that anything that has been imported, so stuff like Lacoste, Nike, Adidas, it's a lot more expensive because of trade tariffs. So if you're planning to do a lot of shopping while you're on your year abroad in China, make sure it's Chinese brand or fake, because otherwise you're going to be spending a lot more money than you would be at home.
And also, like, as a girl in particular, I've noticed that like their clothing sizes are a bit more smaller than the UK's as well, so it'll be really hard to find clothes that fit you well, like if you're curvy or plus size.
Comfy.
Like how so?
It's like the arms are so stretchy, but like it's just not. It's like I fit a medium normally. This is a medium, and I look ridiculous.
Yeah, it looked like a bit stiff.
And as for local adventures, we're here now in Hefang Street, the main touristy centre of Hangzhou. It's absolutely bustling. There's so many stalls and shops you can go to and shop in. It's a really cool spot if you do study here. Gugu, what do you think of the spot?
Oh, it's really beautiful. Like, it's just so like Chinese. Like, it's what you imagine China to be, and it's so lively, and it's like 5:30, 6ish. But yeah, 6ish. So it's really like pretty.
So we're going to do a little spot more shopping, and then we're going to get something to eat and then call it a day. But I hope this answers any questions you might want to know about studying abroad in China, specifically at the Zhejiang University of Media and Communications. Now, we can't exactly talk about staying in China without mentioning the food. We've got the delicious Chinese noodles here. The food in China, if you do choose to study here, is absolutely second to none. You're not going to get better food anywhere else.